Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Tyro to celebrate the year of Lupin with your host Donald Wonder. I want to welcome you guys back. We're doing this all year and we're getting very close to the end of the Lupin movie TV specials. But on the last video, if you missed it, we spoke about 2011's Blood Seal, Eternal Mermaid. You can click the YouTube card on the top right hand corner. It will take you back to that video. But we're moving forward and actually we got a 2-for-1 on this discussion. Yep, I want to talk about 2 titles in one video because one of them's a smaller special and we don't need to make a separate video for this. So in 2012, there was a DVD extra as part of a Lupin collection to celebrate the 40th year anniversary, and this extra was only 10 or 15 minutes. It was called Lupin All Stars, and it did have well, on the last discussion when we spoke about the Mermaid movie, I mentioned that a lot of the cast members, a lot of the voice actors were recast with new younger voices, but this special actually is the last time those original voice actors, I believe it was for Goemon, Fujiko and Inspector Zenigata, those 3 were replaced, and this special, this little 10-minute special is the last time you hear them. And I'm not going to get into spoilers of the special. It's very short, but it's a lot of fun. Lupin gets the gang back together after 5 years. For some reason, they haven't met for 5 years. He meets them at a location. He's got something he wants to share with them. And in this room, there's a man with something on his head, like a metal grate covering his head. So they're all curious to why Lupin's called them there after 5 years. And there's a lot of trickery going on, and honestly, if you're a Lupin fan, it's just a nice little 15-minute character swapping interesting thing, and it was fun. And obviously because the Zenigata voice actor passed away again, I feel like the last scene you see where Lupin says bye bye pops, I really feel like that's a send off to that voice actor. It feels very poignant. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that special. It's fun. I would give it a solid B. There's no need for me to rate it per se, but it's notable and it's part of the franchise, so let me talk about that. You know, I felt I had to talk about it, to be honest with you, because I'm being a completionist. So moving on, the same year, we're going to talk about the next actual feature-length movie that is an hour and a half, which is called Record of Observations of the East, Another Page. Another tongue twister, and if there's an alternate title, you can see it on the screen now. This special actually revolves around a lost page of Marco Polo that some scientists or some archaeologists are trying to find, that leads into some treasure or to some power. And when the movie starts, actually one of the scientists, archaeologists is murdered, and when they get to the scene, when the police get to the scene, Lupin is there. So Lupin is being framed for the murder of the scientist. Obviously you kind of know it's not him. And basically the daughter of this scientist / archaeologist is very upset by it. Lupin wants to find this missing page. Well, actually he finds it in the beginning. That's not even a spoiler. He gets the Marco Polo page, but it's all leading on to even a bigger treasure that all these people are after. The scientist's daughter, this villain, and Goemon has a side story that's linked to this as well. Again, not getting into spoilers, being very vague. First of all, what do I think of the movie on a whole? Well, to be honest with you, this is a very paint by numbers, generic, take or leave special. There's a few things I like about it. Mainly the energy of this movie is very playful and very adventurous for the most part. One of the standout things I noticed with this is the animation. Now, they went with some people have said cheaper art style, but I would say if you look at the facial expressions in particular, it's very cartoony, and actually it added to the energy this movie had. I actually liked it. A lot of people complain that it looks more cheaper, but to me it gave all the characters a lot more charisma, and it's very noticeable because there's so many goofy scenes where even Jigen and Goemon are making funny faces, and it reminds me of, you know, Lupin from the 1980s. And I would, you know, the reason why I don't say it's cheap, because I feel like on purpose they were making these characters look goofy. They were making Lupin do some silly things. There's one scene near the end where Lupin's falling from the sky and he's trying to run in the air, and then someone helps him land in the pond. I felt like the animation really helped the tone and helped me enjoy it on a whole. The sound, on the other hand, meh. I don't really remember. I just finished watching the movie. I don't really remember them doing anything with the sound. The characters, actually, I kind of liked for the most part. Now, Goemon has this side story with really trying to, again, he always has this thing about being a better swordsman or being a better fighter. And in this movie in particular, he wants to put down the sword, and he meets this old man that's giving him some advice, and he meets his other 3 girls that they're all looking after some kind of treasure. Again, not getting into spoilers. And that movie is that story is running parallel to Lupin. So actually, Goemon and the Lupin stuff are very separate for most of the movie. And the Goemon stuff, I liked a little bit more than the Lupin stuff, even though it's very generic and honestly, it's very meh. But Goemon, seeing him every time Goemon gets a little bit of light, the comedic value is kind of fun, and him and the daughters and stuff like that, and him trying to not put down the sword, I found that fun. Now on the Lupin side, and Lupin chasing this Marco Polo page and this greater treasure, that was okay. Him doing it was fine. Now the token girl, what was her name, Lisa, she's very timid and naive and very mousy. I don't like characters like that, you know. I know it's hit and miss with the females and these one-off specials and all that, but she was just so annoying. She was so just following the leader. She did get better as it went on, but even by the end, she was just too mousy. She was cute looking, I guess, but that's not really much of a positive thing for me to say. Fujiko was being a bitch as usual. Goemon was being the right-hand man. And the villain was whatever. He had an interesting voice, but other than that, and there's another surprise minor twist. Zenigata, I like the new voice actor. I said it a few times. I really like him, and he comes near the end and helps out Lupin a bit. He's not really a big part of the whole movie, if I'm honest with you. But honestly, on a whole, the movie's okay. I think another thing that hurt the movie is by the end, it has to be one of the most anticlimactic endings I've seen in the Lupin franchise. They're all predictable. You know how they're going to end. But this one, it kind of ended 5 minutes after it ended. If that makes sense. I was watching it and then it kind of ended and I thought, is it over? And then it went on a little bit more than it was, and I was like, huh? It didn't really flow for me. So, and overall, honestly, it's just a very paint by numbers, middle of the road special. There's nothing really special about it for me, except for the animation, some of the funny elements. I like the spirit of it, but the storyline, if I'm being brutally honest, is completely forgettable. Honestly, I will forget about it. Just nothing really stands out. Again, this is another movie I felt like I've seen in a retrospective before in the 90s. I'm pretty sure this reminds me of this another movie. I'll put it on the screen if I can remember. But again, the storyline is very similar. They've done this before, and it doesn't do anything special. As a result, I have to give it another vanilla. It's kind of very super vanilla. If it wasn't for the animation tickling my funny bone, honestly, I would just throw this one away and say it's just boring. But you know, that's my opinion. I looked on the outside feedback on all the other review sites. They pretty much agreed. People say it's just a very generic hit or miss, take it and leave it. But again, 25 movies, you know, we want, as we get more to the 2016, I'm expecting to see them try different things with the story, spice it up. So when we get these been there, done that stories, at this point, I tend to be more harsher on it. But again, it is what it is, you know. But guys, you know, don't just take my critical opinion. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Like, hate, completely disagree with me. Share your thoughts, because as usual, guys, we don't always have to agree. And that's that, guys. So again, I want to say thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit a thumbs up. It really helps us. If you like the channel, subscribe to Planet Tyro. We do a lot of videos and discussions here. If you look on the right, you can see the annotations to books, movies, TV shows, anime, or podcasts. We do so much things here. And what can I say? We're near the end of the movies and TV specials. We'll do the TV series in 2017, but we've only got a few movies left. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.